So, a month have passed and I have a final verdict over this game. And I bet you do too. But if you don't, then hear me out. Because what you heard might not be true. So leave a like if you do agree with me at the end. Boys and girls, man and woman. Man, is this a game or what? And woman, do they know how to make sure you pay for those stash tabs? So let's start from the beginning. Or maybe like the first hours. Graphics are, as you can see, good for a mobile game, though the protagonists are at times small, so basically it feels like you're zoomed out a bit too much, but in other situations it's kinda the opposite. So yeah, I'm not sure what's up with that. In my situation, I just got used to it. The gameplay is smooth except the standard bugs here and there. Yeah, I'm stuck again. And also, the game do not make the phone melt into lava, so that is a plus. To be fair, games that starts with you playing the endgame hero or have the perfect lineup with maxed characters fighting a big dragon only to die at the end and be resurrected as level 1 is so outdated and unnecessarily in a game like this. It's something that will set you up with some big numbers so that when the game finally starts, you start spending to not be so miserable. So this start probably puts a lot of players off. It's not a serious way to start a game. Anyway, I played this game quite intensely, but also doing all the other stuff that I do made this playthrough slower than I hoped. The grind in this game is real, and that I like. The campaign is quite interesting and far from a short intro. I felt I was interested in what was going on, even though it's not what you think about in games like this. And for me, the start didn't feel boring at all, but I guess if you level several characters, it's of course less fun. The game has a main story and a few side quests that I felt was just enough to feel I cleared the area before I'm heading to the next one. But it is a long game. When I reached Act 6, I honestly felt like, this has to be the end. Some of the bosses started to be tough to down, but no. I felt I played a long time. It took me over a week playing, a little bit every day to get to the end game at Act 10. And bosses in the first 4 or 5 acts was childishly easy, and I was afraid it's another one of those simple loot games, man. But it kinda picked up after that. But just to explain, I don't mind AFK grind games or auto-playing dungeon crawling. It just has to be done correctly. Anyway, bosses start to become more than a one-shot after Act 6. And in the last campaign, the bosses was actually a challenge. The bosses have very fun abilities, and it's not something that you face roll. At least not for me, and I know my way in games like this. And the fact that you can't die and try again without using a resurrection scroll makes this fight feel important. So the overall game is solid, and it's in my opinion very polished. As I say, small glitches and bugs here and there, but as a new game on the phone, this is not weird at all. Mention one other game that the first month still don't have any bugs. Oh really? Well, after the expansion then. As a Path of Exile, Diablo 1 and Diablo 2 fan, I do feel it's a blessing to have a game like this on my phone. Many games have tried this genre, and I have tried all those games, and a few of them got great parts that works. But I don't think no other game have all the stuff that this game have in one game. Or maybe Razio. That was a good game. But of course, that also had flaws. Mapping and farming in this game is hard. And I mean hard. It's Path of Exile hard, if not even harder. Or it might be that I know Path of Exile that makes Path of Exile easier. That's a good point. But I really have to crunch some numbers in Undecember to make my builds work. It's of course easier to go with the meta and use poison damage or fireball. But if you're working with your own build, that I know you do, champions, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Not finding the gear you need, wasting all your currency on gear that you don't even need, because you changed your mind. No gold, because you changed the zodiac too often. Am I getting close? Not enough rebirth stone for those sixlings. Yep, this is Undecember. A game that's very true to ARPG players. you will have a ton of hours to waste here. And I don't mean waste as in waste. I mean, of course, to enjoy this beautiful piece of art every second of your free time when your wife is not watching. Some people do claim that this is really not pay to win. But compared to PoE that uses pay to convenience, this game have pay to win in a sense. It's all mostly due to auction house, where you can buy some of the mediocre items that help you a few levels that then you trash and regret buying those rubies. I would rather see us having a trade like Diablo 2 or maybe even Lineage. You know, when you sat your characters down with items and had a preset of value for your items for others to browse and buy. Good times. Though as of now there is no PvP in Undecember, it has been announced to arrive. The pay to win here is present, but it's not overwhelming. And if you pay for power here, you're really doing you a disfavor. It's a lot better to buy more stash tabs so that you do not have to run to town all the time. I do support the game, and to be clear, they do not support me at all. As any other gaming company, I'm not free to play. I did buy the Essence tab since that's the most important one in terms of getting more space. I did buy the pet thing to collect all my loot for a month, because I don't want to. And I did this because I felt the company did deserve my money. I want them to continue updating this game, which they do. Right now we have up to Act 10, but already up to Act 15 is planned. More gear, more bosses, and of course more maps. The future is bright. But if you want to be free to play, like totally, that works fine. Except you might have to pick your own stuff up and run to town after every map selling stuff that you might need later. You can play the whole game for free, even to the endgame. And I do love the fact that almost everything you want to change is free until you show the Act 10 boss who's the real boss. But yeah, that feeling got lost right after that. I still want to change my build and my skills, but now it's expensive. I also want to touch on crafting a bit, since crafting your gear is a big part in this game. And it's the biggest reason that you will be angry in this game. Because crafting is not currency friendly. Crafting, if you don't know, resembles Path of Exile as well. And it's basically the thing that you do to get the best gear in the game. It's mostly all random, but with a few things you can do that improves some situations. I feel that some currency is not needed in this game. And yeah, the fact that you can't trade your currency makes endgame crafting hard, if not impossible. I mean, I can waste 500 currency in one kind in an hour. So buying from others would help. And since the game don't have a golden drop that would make you rich, yeah, I would add that into the game too. The max level is 99, but you start endgame at around level 67, depending on the build and luck in items. I'd say what the game lacks is the community. It even took a while to find a good Discord, but it's also not as hardcore as I wanted. I'm used to EVE Online and EVE Echoes communities. Here it's more of a single player game where you can join a community, but it's not mandatory. I might be wrong here, but this is the feeling that I get. And it's not unusual, especially in mobile games. But it's more and more common that mobile games cater to older PC players who want that sort of commitment and community. I'm looking at myself. So, what would I change in the game? This is a hard question, but I do think that it should be a lot easier to get a solid build to work in earlier maps. It's far too common to have a build where you really doubt if it's actually good. And this makes us changing the build, the zodiac, the gear, way too much in the beginning. And I feel that an easier way to, in a way, accidentally create a build that would be okay, like in the beginning, would be okay. But of course, advancing further needs more time and dedication. Another thing I would change is the bag space. And yes, again, it started with 100 bag spaces when I started the game. And that was just bad. But it was free. They then added 50 more space for everyone. This was well needed. But I don't think it's enough. They could easily give us 100 bag spaces more. And we would still buy the special ones. And this would not only be very nice to all who don't care for a messed up bag, or players who just can't pay in games, but it would also not hurt the game in any way. The reason the special bags are so good is because you don't need the items on you when crafting and so on. This is a huge time saver. And thinking back to Path of Exile, that has the same thing. There I only had like the basic 4 chest pages or whatever for the first half year. After then I knew I loved the game and I bought one here and there during my time. I have today played every league and I got over 30 extra pages, as well as the special pages. So yeah, I put a lot of money on that game. And Undecember would do best in not preventing players from enjoying this game enough to feel that they want to support the game. Now to add that I do think there should be leagues or seasons on a separate realm, and in those they could have challenges that if you play good enough or farm hard enough, you could possibly get some special bags for free, or at least normal bag space, as a gift for doing all the challenges or something. You know, I don't know. That's probably the dumbest idea you ever heard this evening, but I still support my idea. I think this should be achievable in-game, even if it's meant a lot of work. I also think that the option for hardcore should be a thing. You know, for those who like the terror of almost dying here and there, and everyone else can watch YouTube videos on the funniest Undecember hardcore death. Besides that, I don't think there is much I would change in this game. The game is a beautiful gem among the mobile games. I will continue to play this game, and my Discord will continue to have a page dedicated to this game. So subscribe and join if you want to hang with some great guys while playing. In this game or any other game, of course. But I do want all who have yet tried this game to give it an honest chance. It is too bad that negative videos work so well on YouTube, because this makes people make negative ones. Oh my god, this game is so pay to win. Click, 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 click. And this is why my videos are bad. I see a lot of unfair videos regarding to Undecember, and it's just not true. So try it yourself and hang with people who have a positive feeling for good games. And decide for yourself. After all, you are the best critic regards to what you like, my friends. So keep farming. And I hope I see you guys again.